Boys and girls, good to see you guys. Happy. This Wednesday, we have an international holiday coming up. Does anybody know what's coming up this Wednesday? It's usually the first Wednesday in October every single year. What do you think it is? Fall? Yeah, well, it is part of fall, but this is not the international holiday. Halloween's coming up at the end of the month. I'm excited about that too. Woo, I love Halloween. Really? Not trick-or-treating, that's part of Halloween. Yes?
The Fall Festival?
Fall Festival is coming up soon for Bay Meadows. But let me tell you about this, boys and girls. I know, not to be confused with yesterday's national holiday of Taco Day.
I was about to say Chipotle.
But this Wednesday is International Bike or Walk to School Day.
No.
And I know some of you guys have participated this in the past. This holiday started in 1997. So before you guys were born, this holiday was started. And it was just started in America. And then a few years after that, Canada got involved. And now over 40 countries participate in this. 40 countries participate in International Walk or Bike to School Day. And I'm so excited. I hope that I can see you guys walking to school. Now, you guys at home, you're going to have a little challenge walking to school because you're not going to school yet. But that's okay. You could still, on Wednesday, ride your bike around the neighborhood, practice the safety skills that we're going to talk about in this lesson, or take a walk with your family. Again, practicing the safety rules that we're going to talk about in this lesson. So, before we all participate in International Walk or Bike to School Day, I need to make sure that we're all on the same page because I don't want anybody to get hurt on this International Day. And, you know, we want to make sure Florida is well represented in this. In fact, all 50 states participate in this, but we want to make sure that Florida is represented in a safe way, not in a, oh, well, we did it, but somebody got hurt kind of way. So, anyways, this brings me to my first little card here. Does anybody know, you might hear in this lesson or when we talk about walking to school, you might hear the word pedestrian. And does anybody know what the word pedestrian means? So all of you are kind of like, I wonder, what is that word? That's a big word, pedestrian. Well, pedestrian is simple. It's just somebody who's walking. So somebody that's walking, somebody that's on their feet. So not necessarily a person in a car or a person riding a bike, but somebody that's walking is referred to as a pedestrian. Done with this card.
Ouch!
Whoops. Leads me to my next card here. Where is the safest place to walk? If you have to be a pedestrian, where's the safest place to walk?
Sidewalk?
Exactly, the sidewalk. So you always want to walk on the sidewalk. Ooh, we got a little wind interference here in today's lesson. Feels good though.
Not hot.
So walk on the sidewalk whenever it's possible. That keeps you away from the cars. And if there's no sidewalk, what you want to do is like this bottom picture here where this cartoon character is not on this white line. This white line is more for the cars. It's not a balance beam for you guys. This character, in this case, has no sidewalk, so they're in the grass. So they're walking completely away from the street. You never, ever, ever want to walk in the middle of the street. That's just, so yeah, well, the street is for cars, and cars are bigger than people, and they're stronger than people. So if you get into a pushing match with a car, it doesn't matter how strong you are, you're going to lose that match. So it's safest to use the sidewalk, but if not, if there's no sidewalk, just stay in the grass. Again, never, never walk in the middle of the street. All right, so pedestrians can. So here's our characters walking. Again, pedestrians can walk defensively. Does anybody know what that means? Walk defensively? Boston? Alexander? Yeah, part of being safe. That means just looking around. As you walk, you're looking around and you're making sure that you are staying safe, and you're looking out for the other people or the other cars or animals, anything that could potentially get in the way, or sticks that might be on the sidewalk. You're looking out for that kind of stuff. So you're not just walking with your eyes closed or you're looking down at your shoes. You're always looking around and looking for anything that could potentially be dangerous. So pedestrians can walk defensively. They're going to walk facing oncoming traffic, so you see who's coming. Now, to me, if you're on the sidewalk, that one's not that important, but that's on the board, so I thought I'd read it. Cross the streets at intersections. So sometimes you got to be careful when you're crossing the street. We're going to talk a little bit more in the detail about crossing streets if you're a pedestrian, because sometimes that's a little dangerous. So always cross at an intersection. So look for signs or signals at crosswalks, and that's what we're going to talk about in a moment. Be careful in parking lots, because typically in parking lots, there's a lot of cars moving around. They're looking for parking spots. So again, that's where you defensively need to keep looking around and making sure that you are not in the middle of the road and you're getting out of the way of those cars that are looking for their parking spot. Obviously, you're avoiding any kind of dangerous moves, like all of a sudden just running, in a different direction. So the car, it keeps the people that are driving, they see you and they expect that you're going to keep going straight, not just make a quick left turn and start running in front of another in another direction. Let's see. You always want to keep your view clear. And we're going to talk a little bit about this as well. After dark, wear light-colored clothes. So those are all the things that pedestrians can do. So when you are crossing a street, we talked a little bit about being defensive, a defensive pedestrian, kind of looking around. Whenever you cross, you always want to look left, look right, then look left again. So, and then once you start entering the street, you're still kind of just looking over your shoulder, looking to make sure no cars are coming. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because here in America, drivers drive on the right-hand side. So if you're approaching the side of a street, you want to look left first, because that's the closest cars to you. So if it's clear when you look left, now let's check the other side. Now let me look to my right. Okay, now it's clear over there. However, since I've looked over here, there might be another car coming. So let me just double check and look left again. If it's still clear, now I can start crossing the road. And even when I'm crossing the street, I'm still going to be looking around, making sure that no cars are coming. Yes, sir? If a car is not going in your direction, meaning it already passed you?
No,
Yeah, just wait. Just wait until it passes. So if a car is coming, wait until it passes. And then you do that again. Look left, look right, look left again. Now if there's no cars, then you can go. But yeah, if a car is coming, don't think that you can outrun a car. You know, cars can go very fast. So just wait for the car to go. And then you can cross the street. Yes, sir. Well, that's what he's saying. Sometimes, it's unfortunate that some drivers are very distracted. We're not in that car. We don't know who's driving. We don't know what they're doing in that car. Hopefully they're following the rules and they are being safe, but we don't know that. So do we know that they're not messing with their radio? Do we know that they're not trying to eat chicken McNuggets while they're driving? Do we know that they're not trying to put on their makeup while they're driving? We don't know what they're doing. So we're just going to pretend maybe they don't see us. So while we see the car, we're going to stay off of the road, off the corner. We're going to let them pass, and then we're going to look left, look right, look left again, and then we're going to cross the street. Yes?
Can they just wait and people go first?
Only if there's a red light, and we're going to talk about that situation right now where a car can stop and let you go. Let me get rid of this. Our school has one of these. Have you ever seen these? These people that wear the vests? So crossing guards, sometimes, especially at schools, they'll have crossing guards, and they will stop the traffic, and there'll be a red light usually, and the crossing guard will stop the traffic, and usually it will always take place at a crosswalk. And you can see right behind this crossing guard, there's a crosswalk right behind him. So the crossing guard will help us when there's high traffic and high pedestrian time. So, for example, before school, after school, you'll usually see these crossing guards. But whether the crossing guard is there or not, let me get rid of this card. Whether they're there or not, the crosswalk is the best place to cross the street. So, safest place to cross is a crosswalk. So you can see in this photo, in this little card, this boy is crossing on the crosswalk. Crosswalks are always white stripes going across the road. They're not yellow, they're not orange. If it's yellow, that means it's a speed bump. We have some of those situations at our school parking lot where it's a solid or a striped orange line. That just means it's a speed bump in our situation. The crosswalks are always white stripes. So you can see this young man, he's crossing at the crosswalk, and something that we're going to talk about next, you can see what he's looking at as he's crossing. There's a little sign right on the side, right by the edge of where the crosswalk starts and ends is a little sign. Have you ever seen those?
I can't even see what it looks like. Ow!
Here's what they look like right here. Pedestrian signals. So when you see a pedestrian signal, there's three things that you might see. If you see a red hand, if you see a red hand, that means do not cross. It is not time to cross the street. The cars are still able to come. They are not going to stop for you. Do not cross if you see the red. Then, when it is time to cross, then you will see the ghost. Ooh. So the ghost, when the ghost appears, the white ghost, that's when you know it's time for you to go. You can cross the street safely and the cars will stop for you. Okay? Now, when the hand comes back on, you should be almost done with walking across the street. So the hand might blink. So at first it's going to be a solid hand saying stop, do not go. Then you'll see the ghost, but then you might see the blinking hand. The blinking hand just means hurry up, it's about to be solid again. Now some signals will actually have a countdown for you. Some of your newer pedestrian signals have that countdown. So you'll see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. If you're seeing that, instead of the blinking hand, you need to make sure you're getting out of the road and you're completing your crossing of the street so that you are safe. And then, as I said, then it's going to turn solid red again, which means do not cross. Do not cross the street. Cars are going to start going again. So you only walk when you see the ghost, and then you hurry up if it's blinking or you see the countdown. Alright, so here's what it will look like. A little bit bigger. There's the ghost in the upper. Blinking hand means hurry up. Solid hand means do not go. Solid hand, do not go. Never cross in between cars. The reason why you would never want to cross in between cars is because the cars that are in the street, the drivers, they cannot see you when you're in between a car. So the first time they will see you is when you actually step out into the road, and that could be too late. So they're not going to see you here. Now, if you're in an open area where there's no cars and you're using the crosswalk, cars are expecting that there could potentially be a pedestrian at a crosswalk. So they're looking for that. They're not looking for a pedestrian that is in between cars. So that's where you would have to really be careful. And I think I said this before, when you are crossing the street, and even when you're walking, it doesn't have to be crossing the street. When you're walking on the sidewalk, a little rhyme here, don't look at your feet when you cross the street. I just added that, It sounded like I should do that. Don't look at your feet when you cross the street. Yeah. All right. All right, when you are walking at night, another thing that you may not know, drivers can't see you that well because it's dark. So you have to let them know that you are a pedestrian and you're moving around, and you don't want to get hit, of course. So it's best to wear light clothes. Light clothes are easier to see rather than darker clothes at night. It's always best if you have a flashlight, some kind of light, so the cars can see a light or a reflector. And like I said, the light clothes are easier to see than dark clothes. And of course, if you are wearing those dark clothes, do not walk in the middle of the street. Cars can't see you at night.
Ouch.
Raise your hand if you're a bus rider. All right, so we have a couple bus riders here. Some of you guys might be bus riders when you start coming back to school. So there's bus safety as well. When you're on the bus, keep in mind that bus driver, their job is to keep you safe. And they can't do their job that well if you're jumping up out of the seat and you are not being safe yourself. So when the bus is in motion, you always have to sit down. You always have to help the bus driver be able to drive safely and get you where you need to go. So the chances increase of them getting into an accident if you guys are not being safe yourself. So help them out. So when the bus is in motion, you are all sitting down. When the bus stops, you're going to exit the bus if it's time to get off the bus. And now in this poster, you will see, because buses are so large that there's an area of the bus that the bus driver cannot see. So you can see this danger zone right down here. This danger zone is letting you know that the bus driver cannot see you. So when you get off the bus and you have to walk home from your bus stop, make sure that you go in front of the bus. So these students right here are being safe because they got off and now they're walking in front of the bus. The bus driver can see you. The bus driver is going to stay with the vehicle stopped until everybody's off the bus and until everybody gets out of the road. So when the bus driver can see you, that's always good, and he or she will make sure that you get out of the road. Now, if you go this way into the danger zone, they can't see you anymore. The bus is too long. So they don't know where you are. It's a guessing game for them. So don't make it a guessing game. Always exit, and then if you have to cross the street, cross in front of the bus. The good thing about bus stops, when a bus stops, all the other cars, it's the law that they have to stop also. So when a bus stops, all the cars will stop also. That's why it's safer to go in front of the bus. You certainly want to not go back here. You know, the bus driver can't see you. Raise your hand if you ride bikes here. If you ride your bikes in your neighborhood. I hope you guys are online training. I hope you guys ride your bike. It's great exercise. Really good exercise. But same with pedestrian safety, same with bus safety. There are some things that you have to do to be safe. So with bike safety, the first thing you need to do before you even get on your bicycle, there's something you should be wearing. What do you guys think it is? Right, your bicycle safety helmet. Never get onto a bike without putting on your helmet first. Now you might think, oh, that doesn't, I don't have to wear my helmet. I'm a good bike rider. You never know when an accident is going to happen. We never know. And this helmet is kind of like insurance. You wear it just in case. When I put my helmet on, I don't put it on and say, I'm putting this on because I'm going to get in an accident today. I don't put it on. I put it on because there's a chance I could get into an accident. There's always a chance that I could fall off my bike. And when I fall off my bike, I need to make sure that my cabeza is safe. So I want to protect the brain. So there's actually an unfortunate story from one of our past students. He was doing tricks on his bike and he didn't think that he needed a helmet. And this was several years ago. And he fell off the bike and he got seriously injured. And for the rest of that school year, he was in 5th grade at that time. For the rest of that school year, he just wasn't the same. His grades went down. His brain function was working at a lower level than it was before. So you don't want to do that to yourself. You don't want to hurt your brain. You don't want to have to relearn how to walk or relearn how to eat. So wear a helmet so that you are safe. If you do fall off, you still might get some scratches on you, but at least your brain will be protected from the helmet. Also, wear the helmet properly. When you put it on, those straps should do a V right over your ear. So one strap's going behind your ear, one strap's going in front of your ear, and then it's going to snap under your chin. So you want to make sure that that snaps in. I have seen bike riders ride their bike with a helmet before, and they do not buckle their helmet. What do you think is going to happen when they fall off their bike? What do you think is going to happen? Right. Right. Their helmet's going to fly off before they hit the ground, and then it's going to be just like they were not wearing a helmet. So you have to buckle in the helmet so that you are safe. If you shake your head yes, and the helmet is rocking back and forth, it's too loose. If you shake your head no, and your helmet is moving to the side of you, it's too loose. So you should be able to buckle your helmet and put 2 fingers in between the strap. You know, you don't want to cut off circulation. It shouldn't be that tight. But you do want to make it to where when you shake your head yes and no, the helmet's not moving around. How's my helmet, Mr. Wilmot? I think this will do the trick. Bike riders, here's one important rule about riding your bike. Now, at your age, the safest place to ride your bike is the sidewalk, just like with pedestrians. However, the sidewalk is made for pedestrians. So, if you are on your bike and there's a group of people walking, you may have to go into the grass, not the road, but you may have to ride your bike into the grass a little bit to go around the pedestrians. The pedestrians have the right of way on a sidewalk, okay? Now, you may have seen older people ride their bike on the street with helmets. Raise your hand if you've ever seen that. Yeah, that is okay. The rules state that bicycles are allowed on the road as long as they follow the same rules as the cars. Not with you guys. I'm still saying that the safest place to ride is the sidewalk for you guys. But all the people that I see riding their bike on the side of the street, they're usually people that have some kind of training, they have good equipment, they have good helmets, and they look like they're training for some kind of bicycle race, and they're doing like a long distance bike ride, and that's why they're in the street. But for what you guys do, riding your bike around the neighborhood, you guys should be on the sidewalk. Certainly not in the middle of the street. We already know what goes in the street. Cars! So we need to stay away from them. Yes, sir?
What about crossing an intersection with a bicycle?
Now, when you are on your bike, and kind of like a pedestrian, if you have to cross a street, it is still safer to use a crosswalk. And when you cross the street, you're going to get off of your bike and you're going to walk the bike across the street. So don't ride your bike across the street. Always just walk it. Yes, sir? Are there any questions about this lesson? Yes, ma'am. If you don't have a sidewalk, it's best to ride. Are you talking about pedestrian or ride your bike?
Ride your bike.
On the side of the street, on the very, very side, so cars can go around you. Yes. Yes, thank you for asking that question, because if you don't have a helmet, you do have to get one. It is Florida state law that states anyone under the age of 16, which all of you guys are, it's required to wear a helmet when you ride a bike or a scooter. And I would even say skateboard. So when I ride my bike, I'm a little bit older than 16 years old, but I still put on my helmet just because I know it's safe. It's safe to put that helmet on, and like I said before, it's like an insurance. Just in case I fall, I'll be okay. Yes? Yeah, you don't need them, but yeah, certainly the knee pads are beneficial as well. Just same thing, just in case you fall, it will prevent you from getting scrapes on your knees or your elbows. So that's true. But the helmet is required by law. And hey guys, nowadays if you go to the store and look at the helmets, man, they're pretty cool. You got some Mohawk helmets. I've seen some unicorn helmets. I've seen all kinds of cool helmets that you guys could wear when you're riding your bike. So it's really cool. Yes? Yeah, the elbow and knee pads, they're not required, but I complimented her on that idea. It's not a bad idea to wear those. They're not mandatory, but again, in case you fall, it will prevent you from getting scrapes and hurt on your knees and your elbows. Yes. So again, when you're a pedestrian, keep your eyes open. Where do you cross?
The sidewalk.
That's where you walk, is on the sidewalk. But where do you cross the street if you have to? You may not need to cross the street. But if you have to cross the street, where do you cross? The crosswalk. Yeah. If you are riding your bike, where's the safest place to ride?
Sidewalk.
Yeah. Sidewalk, exactly. Where do you cross? Yes. Yeah, when you have to cross the street, where do you cross? On the side? Well, you're already on the side of the street. Yes. You're on the sidewalk. You're already on the sidewalk and you have to cross to the sidewalk on the other side. Where do you cross? Just anywhere? If you're on your bike?
No.
Alexander? Yeah, still at the crosswalk. So it's kind of a trick question. Still the crosswalk. So bikes and pedestrians both want to cross at a crosswalk. And you press that little button and you wait for the signal to tell you that it is time to go. When will you know it's time to go? Eli? When the car stops, and what will be on the signal? Will it be a hand? Won't be a hand. Yes. It will be the white ghost. Ah! All right. Boys and girls, hope you learned something. Let's have a good international walk and bike to school day on Wednesday. And looking forward to it. You guys walk around your neighborhood, ride your bike around your neighborhood. I'd like to hear back from you guys. You guys, I'm going to be out there looking to see if you guys are walking and riding your bike to school. Got my eyes on you. See you later.